everyone, welcome to another video. Just want to show you, well, I'll show you the miner in a moment. I'll show you where we're at with that. There's been a little bit of progress, but it's only slow progress. But I wanted to show you a little project that I've been working on. I've built a little compressor to use with an airbrush, basically for doing little bits and pieces on the car. So for example, the other day I painted around the inside of the boot aperture. It was pretty scruffy. As you can see, some of this is starting to look quite nice now, and I looked down in the boot aperture and I thought, oh, it looks a bit scabby. So I've rubbed it back and given it a couple of coats of paint, and it makes all the difference. But a mate of mine showed me this idea, but I've made a little compressor from an old fridge freezer that I threw away. I grabbed the pump out of it, the compressor out of it, and I thought I'd make a little compressor for my air gun, and I'll show you all about it. So this is where we're at with the Morris Minor at the moment. I do need to repaint the boot lid again, and I'll show you why. I've sort of started flattening and polishing it, but there's a few scratches and a few bits where the paint's a bit thin. I think you can see just down here. A little bit at the top, and there's a few scratches as well. I don't know whether you'll be able to see them, but it's coming up okay, but the finish isn't brilliant, and I want it much better than that. If you look down the offside at the moment, it's looking quite nice everywhere else, and yeah, it's coming together nicely. So I just want to redo that boot lid. The roof is all okay. It's again, it just needs flattening and polishing in places. Most of it's done, but yeah, it's coming together quite nicely. I have managed to get a rear bumper for the vehicle, which I paid 20 quid for. Quite pleased. It's in not bad condition at all. I do need to get the bumper iron for it, but the guy that sold me the bumper said he has got a bumper iron somewhere, so he's going to sort one of those out for me, but no rush because we're not quite ready for it yet anyway. But that's how it's coming along. I've also got a front bumper as well now. I haven't got that here, that's down at my mother-in-law's. I actually purchased that from a guy up in Cheshire who lives very close to where my relatives live in Cheshire, and they were coming down for a family birthday party, so I managed to purchase that and get them to bring it down for me. So I shall be picking up the front bumper, getting that painted and prepared. And obviously when you're painting something like this, the little airbrush idea is pretty good, because you can you don't have to get out the big gun and everything, so you have the big compressor churning away, making all that noise. So let me show you. And here it is. So this is the pump off of the fridge freezer. What you will find is, let me just move this to one side. I've made up a little bracket for it to sit on, so I had a couple of pieces of box section, 1 inch box section. So I cut a couple of lengths of that. I've used the original rubber mounts that were on the compressor on the pump there, and I've just sort of drilled through it and nut and bolted it. I've then got some 6mm round rod that I had laying around, welded that to the box section, joined the two pieces together up here, wrapped a bit of foam and some red insulation tape around it, just anything I had to hand really. So what you've got from the compressor is you've got an inlet and an outlet. So this is the pipe going in. I've put a little plastic fuel filter, the sort you'd buy from a motor factor's shop. I think it's cost all of about 99p. So we've got a new little plastic fuel filter on there on the inlet. So this is cleaning the air going into the pump, into the compressor. On the outlet side, I've actually connected some washer tubing. I've done it in a bit of a loop and then down and round and back up into this drain filter. All I've done here is I've got a repair washer, just welded it to the bracket, bolted the the filter housing through it, and just stuff the washer tubing in the end of that union that I've got there. There was another union on the bottom here with just a little tiny pipe on it, which fitted the washer tube perfectly. So we've got the clean air going in, and we've got the filtered air coming out. I am still getting a bit of oil from the coming out of the compressor, but that will sort itself out in time. Now, because this, here's the electric side of things. I've just wired this up. I had to work out how to wire it up so that you can have it running all the time, because obviously when it's in the fridge, there is actually a thermostat, and it runs dependent on the on whether the thermostat is calling for the motor to be run or not. So I worked out the connections for that, which I've sorted out inside this junction box here. I've kept the capacitor because that's handy for starting. And yeah, you just plug it in. It runs continuously. I haven't got a switch on it, but what I have done on the end of my washer tube, I've connected it to the hose that comes with the airbrush. This braided hose came with the airbrush, so I've connected the washer tube to another bit of hose, which I've just stuffed in this connector, so I can make the connection to the washer to the braided hose for the airbrush. But when I've joined it together, I've used a little piece of copper brake pipe here, and I've actually drilled a vent hole in it. So when you've got the compressor running, it just vents out of this hole. When you start spraying with the airbrush, all you do is simply put your thumb over that hole, and then you've got all of the air going to the airbrush. Sometimes you don't want all of the air going there, because it can, if you hold your finger over that all the time, it will pop off one of these connections because it gets a bit too much. But it's just a case of playing around with it, and yeah, it's perfect. It cost me nothing. I'll say it cost me nothing. I think I bought a piece of washer tubing for a couple of quid. These other bits of hoses, a bit of copper pipe and some old unions I had knocking around, so I've just used those to make up what I need to get it running all the time. It's really quiet when it's running as well. So unlike the big compressor, which is down here, I say big compressor, it's not big, but unlike the proper compressor that's down here, it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. And then I picked up this little airbrush kit off of, not Amazon, it was eBay, I think, for about 16 or 17 quid. And it is really good, really, really good. And basically, if I can get it out there, try and do it one-handed, it's not the best. Yeah, it's quite good quality. You've got the screw on the end to vary the amount of paint that you're supplying, and all you do is you push the nozzle down for air and then pull it back for the paint. Obviously, the more you pull it back, the more paint you get, and you can actually screw this out further, screw the needle out further to allow more paint to go through the airbrush. You've got a couple of reservoirs. There's the little tiny one here that you can actually screw in the side. Or there's the bigger bottle, which I must admit I've been using because it lasts a bit longer. So yeah, it's a great little tool. So, you know, basically all done for 20 quid really. An old compressor or an old refrigerant pump out of the fridge that was going to the tip anyway, and this little airbrush kit. It's been fantastic. Really worth doing. I will put the camera down a moment and I'll fire it up and you can hear it running. And there it is. That's it running at the moment. So as you can see, it's venting out of the blowhole. If you cover up the blowhole, then the pressure increases in the pipe. I won't do it too much, it will pop a pipe off. But yeah, it's great, absolutely great. Connect that to the airbrush and away you go. Really pleased with it. I will show you where I've been painting, just down in the shuts down here. I mean, it's not immaculate, but it looks a whole lot better than the crusty old mess that was down in there. So yeah, I'll probably give that another coat yet anyway. And it's really great for getting into other areas, like, you know, sort of under here. I've touched in a few little bits here and there as well, but that's all got to be polished again. But yeah, it's fantastic. So there we go. That's the latest update with the miner. Starting to look good. Like I say, the boot's got to be done again, which I will get round to fairly shortly. But there we go. Thanks for watching. See you later.